What's up, guys? So, as promised today, I wanted to take a look at a farmable Necro 10 team. And so, I used this team when I started my Necro 10 farming. Sorry, let me move my mic. And we're going to take a look at the runes first because today is free rune removal. So, I'm bringing the video out a little later than I promised I would today because I was reruning my account and, identifying opportunities in my own runes that I can make better for my speed Necro 10 team. But I use this team. So I use Sarah. Sarah's farmable from the guild shop. So in the guild shop, you can acquire her from the cowgirl summons, right? And so I pulled her, and then I kept on farming her over and over and over in my farming guild until I collected enough skill ups for her that she was max skilled. And what makes Sarah great is that she has attack slow on skill 1, mini AoE on skill 2, and then skill 3 is a pretty decent damage multiplier, and then it has dots. So the dots are cool because there can be up to 6 of them, which is 30% HP that could come off the boss. Then she's got the attack power leader. You can use her for attack leader if you like. Now for this team, I ignore the runes. These are all hand-me-down runes I made just for the purpose of this video. I thought that it would be better if I showed lower tier runes that are more attainable as opposed to, more advanced runes that, won't really benefit you from a beginner's guide. I wanted this to be a beginner's guide for Necro 10. So mine is on Vampire Revenge just because this is the set that I have. As you can see, I have 446 spare runes. Keeping in mind all of my units are runes. So these are the runes that I have. I have her on HP, crit damage, attack. I wouldn't suggest putting her on Vampire. It's not really necessary. I have her on that because these are the stats that I would like. But I would state Revenge across all of your units. Violent Revenge is, of course, the preferred 4 and 2 sets for Necro. They're not really required. I like Revenge, though, because I guess my argument for Revenge could be the same argument you would make about Violent, but Violent would be better because with Violent you can get skill cooldowns. But I like the extra hits, I like the extra damage, I like the extra turns. But if you can get consistent damage from one set versus the other, then you don't have to have Violent Revenge. So those are preferred. So that's Sarah. The second unit is, I used to use Hua, but for the purpose of this farmable video, I'm not going to show Hua. So next is Colleen. Colleen is attainable through the shop. She's the 2-star fire harpoo. She's also attainable through unknown scrolls. If you don't have Colleen, get her wherever you are in the game. She has attack break on skill 1, heal block on skill 2, and then a very nice cooldown AoE heal on skill 3 with an attack buff. Now, she is not a smart healer, which means that on auto, she will, pop your heals not based on the HP of your units, but more on whether or not they have the attack buff up, which is dumb healing, which is why I don't identify her as a smart healer, but that's the way that the AI works with her. Mine is on Violent Revenge. I'm trying something new. Typically, I have double HP. I have this defense rune here, though, because I am using her in my elemental raids frontline, and I'm finding that mine was about 600 defense, 190 whatever speed that was, and like 25k HP, and she was getting destroyed on the second groggy in the elemental dungeon. When I get hit with that Thorn of Despair, I was dying. So this build I'm finding is working for Necro, it's working for elemental dungeon, and it's working for R5. So I like the defense HP hybrid. The typical build for her is speed, HP. Accuracy is arguable on whether or not you want her to have accuracy. Some people say that you want the accuracy so that the harmful effects land. However, her skills, they don't give you I find with her, at least in my experience, they don't get resisted much. So if you want to build her with accuracy, that's more a player preferential situation. If you want to do that, then go for it. I find her fine like this. The next unit is Adrian. Now, Adrian is the only unit on this team that is not somebody that you can farm. So I guess you could argue that this video is somewhat misleading. He's not a 4-star though. So throughout all of the scrolls that you collect, if you can't pull Adrian, then there's then you might just need to be playing the game more frequently and getting more scrolls. He's a 3-star, which makes him very common. He's one of the staples of every N10 team for beginners. He's great because he has heal block on skill 1. He's got dots on skill 2. And then he has this AoE buff on skill 3 that gives all of your team attack speed buff as well as a critical hit buff, which is 30% crit. So it's very good for your team. Mine is Violent Blade, attack, crit damage, HP. Now, notice my DPS units have HP runes on them. The reason for that is because, just a quick tip, in Necro, the longer the boss, the battle goes on, the more damage you get hit when the boss hits you. His counter is stacking and his damage is increasing. You have to be moderately tanky for that. If you go in there full DPS, attack or damage attack, and you're a beginner and you're not, 3-shotting the boss, then you're going to fail. You're going to wipe. So you do want to be moderately tanky. You can see, that's my Adrian with HP there. And then you'll see that my Sarah also has HP on her. Those are the 3 so far. And then we have Zhongfei. He's your farmable fire panda. He is a debuff king. So he's got defense break on skill 1, a mini heal on skill 2, and a 4 debuff multitude, a single target attack on skill 3. And it can give glancing, attack break, slow, and something else. I forget the 4th. So he can do those 4 things on skill 3, which makes him a crucible unit, especially pairing him if you have a Water Kung Fu girl who scales off harmful effects. Pairing the 2 of them together is very good, okay? Because she scales 15% for each harmful effect, so that's 60% extra damage he's going to get just based on whether or not his 4 debuffs land. If they do, that's an extra 60% on each hit, and she hits 4 times. We won't go into detail about her because she's not in the video. So I have mine on Violent Offset. I don't really use him much. He's not in my R5. He used to be, but I kind of just ruined him today for, this video. These, as you can see, are not amazing runes. This is a decent rune, but these are not runes that you're looking at and be like, oh my god, another guy who's got crazy runes I can't match. These are more than attainable beginner runes, okay? I'm very far from advanced endgame in terms of runes, not knowledge. All right, so that's Zhongfei, and then last we're going to use Bella. So notice that this is another unit that offers defense break and a heal. So that's 3 healers, right? We've got Colleen, we've got Zhongfei, and now we've got Bella. Now, that is sort of accidental, I suppose I could say. I'm not suggesting that you use 3 healers because you're going to need the healing. You won't. I'm suggesting a team that is obtainable, farmable, and consistent. This is a team that if you rune the right way is going to have a 99% success rate. When I was using this team, the only time it ever failed was when Grego would go for my Hua, but when I added Bella in, he never goes for Hua because due to elemental advantage, Grego, which is the stage 3 boss, the Dark Lich, he always targets the dark or light unit that is going to give him the elemental advantage, which means that all my other units were safe. And as you can see, I built my Bella very tanky, 25,000 HP, so she doesn't die from the Grego. So this is what you want. You do want to use Bella in here, not so much have anything to do with the fact that you need 3 healers because you don't. This is all thinking outside the box. It's making the run safer by having a light unit to tank Grego's hits. Mine is Violent Revenge. You can go Violent Focus. You can go... Remember, I know that all of my units here were on Violent. It's not required. This is just the runes that I had, but you can use sets that give you your consistent damage without Violent. Okay? And then everybody knows what Bella offers, but he's got defense break skill 1, single target buff removal skill 2, which doesn't apply in N10, and then a heal on skill 3. The attack gauge increase on skill 3 is kind of irrelevant in this because he is not going to be influencing your attack gauge here because it doesn't work in Necro. The last thing I want to talk about is speed order, okay? Very important. Speed order. You have to think about... the lineup here. So you've got these 5 units. You have to think about how many times they hit on skill 1 and who's going to go when. And the reason for that is because the most important thing you can do on the boss is get attack slow. So on this team, you have 3 units that give slow. Two. You've got Sarah and Zhang Fei, which means one of them needs to be going last, so that way after your first couple units break through the shield, you can get your unit that's going to give the consistent attack slow a turn so that they can get the slow on the boss. My suggestion is Sarah, because since she's your DPS, you want her to kind of go so that she can not only get the attack slow but also do decent damage. The only paradox to that is since she's the fire unit here, the water unit, all of the other units that are attacking her have elemental disadvantage, which makes killing her a little complicated. So you can play around with this as much as you want. I wanted to get this video out earlier this morning so that way, since it was free rune removal, anybody could experiment the way they wanted to. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to, so it's the end of the day. Without further ado, we're going to run that team. This was the team I was using today. So now we're going to use Sarah leader and then Zhang Fei. Okay. Oh, sorry. Looks a little laggy. All right. So I guess a replacement, so one of these units could be Lamour. He's the fire elemental, he's a 2-star. He's got defense break on skill 1 and attack slow on skill 2. You could use him in here. What the Foi, which is a high level global player, he used the entire Lamour team, I think 3 or 4 of them, with someone else. I don't know if it was a Bella. Okay. So it looks like it's lagging. What else do we have? What else do we need to know? So it's very safe. Grego did his deadly touch. I was hoping he would get a defense break in so we could kind of assess what the worst case scenario would be, which would still result in a safe win. He didn't get the defense break though, so there was no real cause for concern. Man, I have got to do some OBS tutorials and see how to reduce this lag. Now we're at the boss. Alright, so the shield is down. There's a whole bunch of revenge hits. Attack break, there's a dot, there's attack slow. That's going to be all she wrote. I guess, yeah. That's what I thought the worst case scenario would be, Sarah being stolen there. But it looks like they got through her pretty easily. Man, if I didn't have HP there, she would have died. Okay. So far, so good. Man, we didn't even get through the first revive. Okay, there we are. And that should be it. And that's it. What kind of time was that? 3:42. So, as mentioned, it's a team designed around consistency and being safe, not about speed. So this is going to conclude the video. I hope it was insightful. Please feel free to like and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in.